You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 32. I'm your boy Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Before we bring on today's guest, we got something to talk about, good people. Back for another edition of Support You on Sunday, all right? My wife and I had a chance to check out this vegan spot in Birmingham called Underground Vegan. Man, it was some great food. We both had the rodeo burger, the fries, and the lemonade. I'm not vegan, but I'm all about supporting black-owned businesses whenever I can. It was a great experience, great vibe, great customer service. I highly recommend it. And yeah, we love to go to Birmingham. We love to get out of town and go have a good time and grub good and celebrate life. Even if you're not a vegan, go enjoy you a meal at Underground Vegan. Let them know Gumptown Podcast sent you. All right? That's all we got to talk about today. On with today's show. Today's guest, he is the founder and owner of Moore Photography. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure you all will be inspired by his story. Let's give a warm Gumptown round of applause for Otis Moore. OJ, how's it going, man?
Man, everything good, man. Everything good.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Glad to hear that. First things first, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me for a few minutes. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Yes, sir. So before we talk about, today we're here to talk about Moore Photography, but before we go there, let's get to know the man behind the brand. What's your story?
Man, ain't nothing too much to it. My name is Otis Moore, born and raised here in Montgomery, Alabama. Was a graduate of Robert E. Lee High School, class of 2004. Once I left Lee High School, I went to the Alabama State University. Got that chance to experience that HBCU life, and I graduated in 2008 with my degree in computer information systems. I really took and learned a lot from the experience there. Still got a good relationship with a lot of my fellow graduates and everything now. So it was just a great networking thing. I was able to follow a lot of them even into my field, the IT field. I've been doing IT now for about 10 years. And what happened, we all experienced it in 2020, the pandemic, with everything that hit with coronavirus. So that hit us, especially in the IT field. We had to switch it up a little bit, had to go and convert a lot of stuff over, but we ended up working from home. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, working at home was it was a good, you didn't have to get up and go to work or anything like that. But just sitting around at the house, really not being able to go out and do anything, it kind of took away from the things that I do all the time by just going and troubleshooting stuff. So it was a big adjustment. So in 2020, they cut off everything as far as like with my boys as well, as far as like with sports and stuff. So they didn't get a chance to get a chance to take their pictures or whatnot. So that's pretty much how I kind of got started with Moore Photography. It started off as something. I had a camera that I purchased for my wife. She was trying to figure it out, how to work it and all. And during that time frame, I'm like, hey, we didn't get a chance to take pictures of these boys. So let me go ahead and just do some things with them, man. I put them in the uniforms and all of that. And I got a chance to take their pictures in the backyard. So with me taking the pictures, I posted them out there on social media. And from the post and everything, man, they got a lot of great reviews. People was coming back saying, hey, man, these pictures look really nice and everything. So I looked at that and I'm like, hey, I'm at the house. I don't have anything to do, man. Let me just, this is one thing I can try to pick up and try to do to try to keep myself busy so that I don't drive myself crazy.
Right.
So yeah, so I went and picked up the camera, man, started doing a few test things with it, trying to figure it out. And from doing it, I did, like I said, I went to school for IT, so I didn't go to school for anything with photography at all. So I immediately started, going to my best friend. I call it Google. Started looking up some stuff on Google. Started looking up some stuff on YouTube to try to figure things out to try to get better. But I'm not even gonna lie to you though, man, that stuff was getting frustrating because I couldn't get a lot of things figured out, to the point where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I eventually started, went on Instagram, started kind of looking at other photographers, trying to see what they were doing. I was even, messaging them like, hey man, what advice do you have for someone that's just trying to get started out, just trying to take pictures and stuff, and they was like, man, you might want to go ahead and just get into some webinars and stuff like that. So just going through that, man, I'm telling you, man, it had to be, I don't know, it had to be nobody but God, man. As soon as I was going through, I saw a lady that pulled her name popped up. She's a photographer out there in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Her name's Jordan Ari. It pulled up. She was offering a free webinar at the time, and she was like, "Hey, take this. I'm giving a free webinar for an hour. You get on. I'm gonna give you a lot of photography tips and everything." So I logged into it, and man, I learned a lot within that time frame, within the hour time frame. But then immediately at the end, she was like, "Hey, if you want to get more into it, you want me to be your mentor, we can continue this going on. I can check back in with you to make it better." She said, "All you got to." Looking at the price on it, man, it was over $1,000, and I was like, man, I'm like, I know I want to do it, but do I really want to do it that bad?
Right.
I'm gonna try to figure some more things out before I go in that deep. So I kept going through the process, kept going through trying to figure out stuff with Photoshop. Wasn't really aware of a lot of stuff with that, but I was trying, got frustrated again, Doug. So it probably about maybe 2-3 months later, her information popped up again. It was like, hey, I'm offering another webinar. This time I went through it, signed up, and this time at the end she was like, hey, the price used to be this. I'm offering half off. So that knocked it down to well under $1,000 or whatnot. And like we said, everything with pandemic, they were giving out those stimulus checks and everything as well. They were giving out loans. They were just giving away money. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and invest into it. Got into it, man, and pretty much, man, I've been in a course now since 2021. I was able to, to get a lot of things figured out. I could reach back out to her, anytime I need it. And also I was able to network with a lot of people, other photographers all around from Atlanta to, North Carolina and Miami, just a bunch of different places, man. So that's pretty much where I've gotten to that point now, man, where I'm at. I'm trying to go full-fledged into it now. And had a lot of people reach out to me. So man, I'm sticking with it. I'm going through. I still, of course, do IT full time, but this photography thing it started off as a hobby, but I'm trying to turn it into my little business. Also, pretty much, hopefully, full time going forward.
That's some great stuff. And let me stop you right there. You said something at the end. Your little business. This ain't a little business, man. This is a big deal. Like I don't use that type of language, and I don't allow nobody to use that type of language. Like this is some great stuff you're doing, and I commend you.
Appreciate
because no problem. Because I was going to ask you about where did your love for photography come from? But it was born out of the pandemic, in the midst of us sitting at home doing nothing. Because I'm in IT as well. So I can attest to what you're saying. Sitting around the house, you think in theory, like, man, this is a great thing. But then you realize, okay, if there's not a lot going on at work, what am I really doing? I'm just sitting here.
Right. Right. Exactly, man. And that's kind of like what happened, man. A lot of days it'll be, you have busy, you try to remote in, you do some stuff, but it's some days when it's really, really slow. So you just kind of sitting around doing nothing. And that drives you crazy, especially, the day doesn't go by as quick. So yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Right. And that's great stuff because basically you had that you had that camera, you bought it, like you said, you bought it for your wife and you had it there and you just, you got creative, man. And like, that's really a lot of ideas come out of that. Like, and the pandemic was very trying for all of us, man. We were sitting at home, a lot of us. And thankfully, you and I being in the field where we were able to work from home. Some people didn't have that luxury. We were able to stay employed and make things shake. And you was unsure of yourself in terms of the photography, in terms of investing in it, but you figured it out and it all worked out. And it's very similar what I figured out, man, especially because we know from IT investing in certifications, we know what that do for our career. It takes our skill
Right,
set,
right, right.
makes us more marketable. So it sounds like you applied that same principle when it came to photography. You invested in
Correct.
yourself. And
hmm
I know, trust me, man, it's not. Trust me, even when it came down to investing in the proper equipment for the podcast, I knew I wanted to do a podcast, and I was like, man,
hmm
I don't know, man, I don't want to spend that money, but I had to reshape, I had to reformulate my thinking. I'm not spending it, I'm investing it. I'm investing it in myself.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And and
go ahead.
and and that's what I had to do, man. I photography than just just having the camera. It assist and my mentor, she was there. The things that we needed to get. So I'm invested into my business. So I know in order to make money, you're gonna have money. And it was a great investment, man. I don't regret it at all.
Yes, sir, and you shouldn't. I mean, that's really what it all comes down to. If we want to get to the next level in our craft, we have to be willing to invest. And hats off to you for going out there and finding a mentor, and
Sure.
that's what it's all about. You said something earlier about using Google as your best friend. Trust me, man. Google, YouTube University is out there. Why not use it?
and I'm saying I've been doing it for so long with IT, man. I said it's got to be something else that's going into it with photography as well, man. So you can't go wrong with those methods.
It's amazing how transferable those skills are, man. We got in IT. Like we don't think
Mm-hmm.
we don't think about it like that. Like, man, in terms of when it comes down to troubleshooting issues, investigating, like, man, we use Google, YouTube University. So when it come down to learn a new skill set, we often we often fail to realize we already have the skill sets. We
Exactly.
already know what we need to do in order to become proficient. Use Google and YouTube, and that's what you've been
Right. Right.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, man. Let's go on a deep dive. Let's talk about more boy photography. What all do you offer? Of course, I know you have photography services. Let's go in a little more depth about what you got going on over there.
Since 2021, man. So I photography. So that's more so like like your different events. Like you have so you had a lot of people. That's pretty much was my first. So they got the family and stuff like that together. So with doing that, that got me really, really comfortable with it because it's so random. You never know what's gonna happen. You're like, hey, take my pictures. So it's like you have to kind of be like in all different type of lighting situations. So that got me, they got my feet with doing engagement shoots. So I did engagement shoots, of course, birthday shoots and everything. And then you go over and now I'm even exploring now. Now this is something I wasn't even considering doing because of the time and everything that went into it. But I'm starting now to get over into. I have a couple of weddings that I'm doing here. So that takes up a lot of time. But at the same time, my mindset, the reason why I even went into photography was to because we know it can get expensive. I wanted to be able to provide opportunity. But I know I didn't want to have to make them have to, spend too much and but also wanted to give them the same experience. Like, hey, come in and say, hey, man, I've never done a photo shoot. I'm kind of scared to step in. I don't want you to be conscious about anything. I try to make everyone comfortable. So that's why I try to bring my personality over and of course doing, like you said, everything is transferable from IT to photography. So with IT, and everything. So doing that process, you don't want to get there. So you're just trying to make things not feel so awkward. So that made everything in the process of photography that much easier for me. But pretty much the thing, I'm not putting myself in a box anymore. I used to just say I just wanted to do things, but now I'm open to pretty much anything now. So service that you need, man, I'm here to take a picture for it.
That's great stuff. You got out of that. You took yourself out of that box, like you said, because you started out doing family photos. And then I want to tell you something, man. Someone asking you to shoot for their wedding, that's a big deal because a wedding, that is an intimate occasion.
Right,
and if them
man.
pictures ain't right, your wife is going to be
Exactly.
one upset individual.
Exactly. and man, and the last thing you need, and that's one thing about it, you can't go in and say, man, I didn't get the pictures, I missed this shot, man. Let's redo the wedding again. It's just a one time thing. So that's why I said I was kind of worried about it, especially just getting started off. But I was like, hey, man, you've done as much as you've done so far. And you didn't think you would be able to even get to this point. You know, people are taking chances on you. If they're asking you to do their wedding, I mean, they're looking at the pictures and stuff that you've done that they've seen, and they like what they've seen. So, you know, I was like, man, go ahead and do it, man. Just 2022 was my method of just going full fledged in with it, man. Just invest.
Why not? Because if people ask you to be there, you belong there. Mm-hmm. So you shouldn't feel inferior while you're there, you know?
Exactly, man. And that's one bit of advice I got from a fellow photographer here in Montgomery. One thing that she was telling me, she said, man, you can't ever just look and start, you know, it's good to go and look at other photographers' work or whatnot, you know, to kind of look at and just try to get an understanding of how to do this and that. She said, but you can't ever get into the point of where you're comparing yourself to them, because you're just starting off. And these people have been doing it for years and years and years. And some of them even went to school for it. So they have a lot. You know, they put a lot of time and investment into it, and they didn't start off like that. So you can't expect to get out there and just be like, I'm gonna just be a great photographer overnight. You know, you have to put your time and invest into it as well. She says, so just keep going with it, and you got to start somewhere. So I just been taking that advice, man, and just been going forward with it, and great things will come out of it, man.
Right, that's great advice, and not only in terms of not looking at other photographers in terms of getting into that comparison trap. You don't want to lose your authentic self because you're copying what the next person is doing. So to your point, it's one of those things where you can say, okay, I see what such and such is doing. I'm gonna take a little bit of that, and mix it in with my flavor, and I'm gonna produce what I do, and it's gonna be authentically me.
Exactly, because that's exactly what she said. She said, hey man, she said, if I wanted to use this photographer, I would have got them. You know, so I got you for your particular niche, what you do special. So just, you know, take what you got, learn, of course, from others, man, but make it your own. And that's exactly what I've been trying to do, man. When they look at the picture, I want them to say, man, that's OJ that took that picture or whatnot. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's transition right into the next portion of the interview. Whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform like yourself, I like to cover three things. I like to talk about the aha moment, action, and audacity. So your aha moment, it came to you during the pandemic to start taking pictures of your boys. And so now we can go right into the action. How long after that aha moment how long did it take you to turn it into an actual business?
The actual business. So when I took the pictures of the boys, it had to be around towards the end of 2020. So that was almost like around that maybe October, somewhere along towards the end of the year. So I was like, hey man, I'm you know, of course, you know, at the end of the year, we all like to make, you know, the New Year's resolutions and everything like that, like what we trying to do to get better for the next year, what you want to try to invest in. So one thing I said, man, I'm like, man, I think, you know, I'm gonna try to go in with this photography thing. So I said, you know what, I set goals for. I said I want to have you know, a clientele base at least before my birthday, which is in May. So I said, but I got to start somewhere, you know. So I'm like, let me get a logo going. Let me just get some ideas brewing as far as like pricing, all that stuff and everything. So I would say probably in January of 2021 is when I actually a lady reached out to me and was like, hey, I can do the logo for you. And when I posted and uploaded that logo on Facebook, man, the love that I got from that, people was like, hey man, I didn't even know you did photography. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I haven't done anything, but I'm just posting, you know, just to kind of let everybody know, man. I'm talking about people started sharing it, like, man, they just knew just based off of me and the work that I do in IT that, hey man, if he puts in the time that he does in IT, I know it's going to transition over to photography if he puts mindset to it. So people just sharing like, hey man, you want a photographer, use him. And they never even seen me taking, you know, in the picture anything I ever did. So when I saw that and the reception I got from people that knew me, not only from Alabama State, but just in crossing in their paths or whatnot, when I got that, man, I knew then. I'm like, hey, man, I'm about to go full fledged into this. So that's when I invested into the course with Jordan Ari in March of 2021, and I've been at it ever since, man.
Man, that's great, man. And my reason for that's a great story, man. And my reason for asking that is, as we all of us have a lot of us, we have a lot of ideas, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times people don't execute on those ideas because we get into
Right.
this habit. And I'm speaking for myself. I don't know if you can attest to it,
Mm-hmm.
but you get into this habit of overthinking. Like, man, it might not work. It
All the time.
People not
Yeah.
gonna like it, but you just sometimes you just have to. And I have to tell myself this, like, who
Mm-hmm.
cares if nobody likes it? Do you want to do it? Do it. Like
Right. Right.
people who fool with it, they gonna fool with it. People who don't, people who won't, they won't. I mean, that's just what it
That's
is.
and I mean that's the best way to put it, man. Because like I said, you're gonna have some that's gonna support, you're gonna have some that's not gonna support. But what you gonna do about it? At the
Exactly.
end of the day, is all it comes down to.
Exactly.
So
You gonna sit around here and worry about, man, what if I but see, like you just said, you just basically proved the point. You put it out there and people said, man, I know OJ is good people, so whatever his hands touch,
mhm.
it's gonna be gold.
Exactly. So and that's just how you had to be, man. So and you never know that little bit of love that you get from people that it goes a long way. Now, if I would have posted it, I never got any reception or anything from it. I mean, I probably you never know what can happen. I could have been like, man, you know what? Maybe this ain't gonna work out or
Yeah.
whatnot. But my mindset when I went into 2021 is, man, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna put
Right.
this, so I'm like, I'm gonna do it regardless if I get someone that say, hey, man, I want to work with you or not. I said if I don't have anyone that reaches out to me, I said I got two boys, I got a wife, man. I can take these pictures and put in. I know they're not gonna have any issues with, hey, man, hey, can I take a picture? But when I got family members and stuff, man, I said, so originally, with me having a main job and everything, the money and everything, that's why I said it never was the issue. I said this is something I'm doing starting off as a hobby, and then I'm transitioning over into a business. So sometimes you have to collab with certain people just to get a portfolio and everything going to let them know, hey, I can provide this service or that service. So um, I just been blessed, man. I've been blessed to have people that actually took chances on me, and from that chance, the best marketing tool, man, is word of mouth for me, man. I took the picture of these people going around saying, man, I was able to get this done. He was great to work with. He made everything very comfortable for me. I was nervous about it, and then at the end of the day, it was inexpensive. I had to go out there and pay an arm and a leg just to try to have some memories and whatnot of me. So that's all I look to do, man. If I can put a smile on someone's face and create memories for them to live by for the rest of their life, man, I'm with it.
Man, that's great, man. That's solid and that's powerful. And to be honest with you, I'm glad you touched on that point about still maintaining a full-time job
Right, right.
while investing in this, because that was something a lot of people, we look at IG and sometimes we misinterpret things in terms of, man, I want to start this, but I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
quit my job to start this. And
Right.
you don't have to. Like, I still work a
Mm-hmm.
full-time job, man, but I do this on the
Right, right.
side. And I just want to
Mm-hmm.
commend you for saying that, because a lot of people, they get paralyzed by it, man. I want to start a business, but man, I don't want to quit my job. And you don't have to.
Exactly. Exactly. And like I said, and thankfully, some people from the class, like I said, we all try to motivate each other in there. But we had someone, even my mentor, they took a leap of faith. She just so happened to. That's why I say everything just was just lined up by God to me, man, because she was in the IT field as well. I didn't even know that until I got in the class. But she said, yeah, I was in IT, I was doing this and that, and then I eventually just, she said I eventually just, quit the corporate world and just went full time into photography. And she said, of course you get nervous and you're worried about will I be able to, be able to pay these bills or whatnot if people don't start coming in and everything. She said, but if I thought like that, I would have never been where I'm at. So you're gonna sometimes in life, man, you're just gonna have to take choices. But like, thankfully for me right now, man, you can do both
Right.
and be able to maintain. You can be able to maintain both. And then if it just so happened where photography gets to going over so well for me, where I have so many clients to the point where I can be like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and just make this my main thing to do. So, if in due time that'll come, man. But I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna let God handle that situation for me. I'm gonna trust.
Yes, sir. So that goes
Mm-hmm.
right into the last portion, the audacity. It takes courage and audacity to step out there to actually start your own. It sounds like
Right.
at the start of 2021, you gave yourself the audacity to step out there. Anything else you want to add to that courage and audacity piece?
Yeah, man. When you step out there to do it, man, you have to take the good with the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I first started out, man, I had so many people that were reaching out to me. And of course, with me working and stuff, I had to try to make my way to arrange it around because some were trying to do it when I was on my job. So I'm actually I'm actually taking lunch breaks and stuff, man. Like, hey, man, I'm gonna have to shoot during my lunch break and then just have to come back to. So I had so many people that were coming in because you're brand new. They want to see what you're about. They want to have that experience as well. But then at the same time, I had some lows also because you get to a point where sometimes, you don't have as many people that were coming in at one point. So it's like, what are you going to do when those moments happen? So you have to get creative. Right now, man, I've been out there doing a bunch of, different things to try to get a follow. I've been, speaking with my wife because she has a YouTube and an IG page. So I've been getting ideas from her with these reels and stuff, man. And when you stay consistently posting content, it keeps the audience engaged. Mm-hmm. And when you keep the audience engaged, man, I've seen that I've had so many people now that have just been reaching out to me once again. It may not be for this month. They've been saying, hey, man, months down the road, I got this coming up, got that coming up. And then once that comes up, then they be like, hey, yeah, will you be available? I got a cousin, I got a nephew, I got a niece or someone that got something else coming up. It's like, it's just so many different avenues that just come about. So you just got to remain patient once you take the audacity and just know that you're going to have some highs where there's a lot of people coming in, then you might have some where it's not as many people coming in. But what are you going to do in between time to try to stay relevant for your followers and your audience?
Yes, sir. Well said. Well said. So More Boy Photography has done great things, and I know you will continue to do great things. So let's talk about vision. What are your short-term and long-term goals for the business?
Man, so right now, of course, I'm doing, the whole IT thing, but short term right now, man, I'm trying to reach as many people as I can as far as whether that's branding or with branding shoots or just anything that they have lined up that they want to do, that they want to be able to show the world. So short term right now, man, I'm just trying to be able to put the smiles in the face on people's faces to just let them know, hey, man, More Boy Photography had a piece of whatever I'm trying to do right now. Because you have those that out there that are doing on the front of magazines, or they're out there they're just getting headshots that are out there for like their business and stuff. So when they look back and people look at it, they can always be like, man, well, OJ had something to do with this or that. So that's just short term. I just want to be able to just continue to make impact on pretty much on my people, man. Long term, of course, I want to be able to control my own schedule, man. I want to be able to get to that point where I can make this my full-time business. I know that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of investment and definitely a lot of leg work, because you're going to have to sometimes you might have to get outside of Montgomery. You might have to do some traveling just to get your brand and your name out there. But long term, that's what I want to try to do, man. I want to try to be able to get to a point where I can just be able to just settle down, be able to fully invest in this photography, then be able to control my own schedule, be able to hang around with my family a lot more, be able to take them on trips and vacations based off of just what I've been able to receive from photography income and everything. So that's definitely what I want to try to do long term, man.
Man, those are some great goals, man. Specifically, the long-term goal. Now that right there, that's the American dream, being able to control your time and your money.
And man, I've been doing it, man. I've been doing this IT thing, Doug, man, in this IT world, man. When we graduated, they didn't just say, man, you got this job. The first opportunity I was trying to get out there on the job, the first thing they said to me, man, well, you don't have the experience. And I'm like, well, how am I gonna get the experience if I don't get the chance to do it, man? So, right. It's like every time I keep going through the same process, when I was going through interviews and stuff and having people to pretty much, they had to put me in position and put me in places to to get to where I am. I want to be able to create an opportunity for myself now and then, be able to also bring in other people that can be on my creative team, with more photography, to be able to give them an opportunity as well, to be able to for them be able to one day get their own business or something like that, man. So I just want to just be able to control my own narrative for a chance.
I respect it, and I can attest 100%. Like you just said, in the IT field, you get into this thing of, oh, you don't have the experience, but I went and got this degree. I went and got
Right.
all these certifications. I don't have the
Uh-huh.
experience. So basically, what you're doing with More Boy Photography, what I just gathered from that, you about to qualify yourself to be in any room you want to be in. You ain't got to sit down.
Exactly.
I ain't got to be in no. I ain't got to have no A+ security plus. I got me.
Right.
Like I got my gift,
Right. Right.
and you know what? I
Yeah.
mean, I hear you talk about God a lot, man. So I know you're definitely into the word. So one thing I
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
realize, and I carry with me every day, man, my gift gonna make room for me. Your gift gonna make room for
Oh yeah.
you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely, man. And like you said, man, you have to be able to put yourself in that position,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to be able to trust God that that you're making the right decision on everything that you have going forward, man. But you definitely want to be able to inspire folks. And I know with me going the unconventional route with photography, like just going into the computer information system and just picking this up during the pandemic, that it's going to inspire someone else to be like, hey, man, I didn't go the same route as everyone else that's out there that go to school for it and everything. But looking at OJ, he made it, man. I know I can make it too. So I just want to, be an inspiration to others, to let them know, man, hey, you don't have to go the conventional route in order to be able to sit in those rooms with other people and be able to get to get your brand and everything out there, man. And not only with more photography, but just with any business in life, man. You can do it, man. You can make it if you just put your mind to it and invest time into it as well.
Yes, sir. I agree 100%. So as we
Mm-hmm.
come to the conclusion of this episode, man, I want to ask the $1,000,000 question. I started this
Mm-hmm.
platform because I wanted to shed light on the greatness coming out of Montgomery, whether you were
Mm-hmm.
born here or whether you went here, whether you were here for a period of time, significant
Right.
period of time, like college. You being a
Mm-hmm.
hometown hero, man, I just want to know what's something you learned in your upbringing that you've been able to carry with you throughout life that's made you that's been, let me rephrase that question. What's something you learned in your upbringing that you've been able to carry with you as you've gone through the different phases of life, whether it be a husband, father, and an entrepreneur? Let's shed some light on the Gump.
Oh yeah, man. So hey, I know a lot of people that come in, they got a lot to say about Montgomery or whatnot, man. Like some be saying as soon as they graduate, man, can't wait to get away from here or whatnot. And
Mhm.
there was a lot of people that sometimes that, they might just been coming in from out of town and stuff, man. But it's nothing negative I can say about Montgomery, man, because Montgomery made me who I am.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, man, I love Montgomery. I'm still here,
Mhm.
from birth and everything, and I still plan. I don't plan on going anywhere, and even if I do, man, Montgomery is always going to get it's always going to be who I am and what's inside of me. So I'm always share that no matter where I go, and people look at me now, man. Even when I go out there, they picked it up on the call we was on in my conference call when we was with my mentor. They was like, man, you sound like you from Alabama. I'm like, well, how Alabama sound? I'm like, I said, we don't know the accent because we're from here, man. But like I said, as soon as I'm on there, I'm from Montgomery, man. That's where I'm
Mhm.
from. I know you say Alabama, but I'm from Montgomery. Make sure you add that part to it. And not only that, Alabama State, that's where I went to as well. So,
Yes, sir.
but my upbringing, man, my family, one thing they always told me, man, is just, whatever you put your mindset to, man, you can do it. Just all you have to do is, you trust in God, but not only trust in God, man, but you have to put the work behind it as well. It's one thing to say, man, God got me, but then it's another thing when you're saying God got me and you just sitting around doing nothing about it. You
Mm.
got to do something. You got to put some action behind that as well, man. So that's what I've been doing, man. Not only with the IT field when I've been told no, as far as like you don't have the experience, and all I've ever told anyone, just give me the opportunity, give me the chance, and I promise you, you won't regret it. And I've done that everywhere I've ever been, and that's going to continue to go forth in more photography. And I got that from my parents, man. You just keep going forward and believing in yourself.
Powerful, man. Powerful stuff. So how can the people connect with you, OJ? What are your social media handles?
Man, so you can connect with me on Facebook, man. It's at More Boy Photography. That's my business page. You can connect with me on IG as well. It's the same at More Boy Photography. Then also right now, man, because of my kids and everything, they got me out there on TikTok, man. So but it's the same thing. It's fun, man. At More Bar Photography, you can reach me on there, man. That's why I'm doing a lot of my reels and just different hilarious little photography, little reels or whatnot, just to kind of make light of everything going on, just to kind of show them off my personality. That I'm fun to work with, man. But those three things are the three things that you can reach me on. You can definitely right now. Hopefully, I'll be coming out pretty soon with my website and everything, where you can go through and and book an appointment and all of that. But right now, just shoot me an inbox on a DM on IG, or you can inbox me on Facebook. Whatever method on that, man, and we can go ahead and get something set up and squared away with.
Yes, sir. And of course, I'll put all this information in the description of the episode. Hey, OJ, okay. Thanks again for the conversation, man. I really appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you, man. And just keep doing what you're doing, man, with this avenue that you're using, man. I know you're going to continue to do great things, man. We know how we do, ASU, all of that, man. You just keep this platform up, man. I love what you're doing.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. We gone, but before we leave, remember, be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.